So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a Grey Nun of Montreal to start with. I joined the order in 1940, and that was the order founded by Mother Duville, a French-Canadian lady who was born at Varennes in 1701, got married to François Duville, was very unhappily married. She became a widow when she was 29, left with two surviving sons who became priests. And that's after having become a widow, that's when she started caring for her neighbor who were in need, those around her who were in need. After 6 or 7 years, she was joined by 3 other young ladies who wanted to dedicate their lives to the same service to humanity. But they were not allowed at the time to create a religious order because the authorization of the King of France was a must at the time. He had to provide for the religious orders, you see. That's why he would limit the number. What made it possible for her to found an order is the fact that the General Hospital in Old Montreal on the shores of the St. Lawrence had been founded by an order of brothers, and there were only 4 left of them. 2 were ill, another wanted to return to France. So Mother Duville was substituted to them along with her first companions. And the name of the institution was the General Hospital, but it was not general. It would admit only veteran soldiers and orphan boys. Whereas when Mother Duville was substituted in 1747, she entered along with her old ladies, with their husbands, and girls, orphan girls, destitute people, all kinds. And she would mention, we will not refuse anyone in need as long as we can provide for them, of course. And it all started the Grey Nuns. She was given permission to be considered as a religious order in 1755 by King Louis XV on the 3rd of June.
Wow.
And we stayed there until 1871. She died in 1771. But the fact that we had to move from there is that we were flooded twice a year. We were on the shores of the St. Lawrence, you see. So we had to buy this place and build this place. But it took quite a few years in order to complete it. We entered here on the 6th of October, 1871. This first wing along to the church was built when we arrived. And then the church was built from 1874 to 78, and the rest of the building from 1879 to 89, and the next wing from 1898 to 1903. Our purpose is to help whoever is in need. And the first groups to go and found the same institutions but elsewhere was in 1840. We were still in Old Montreal at the time. And they left for St. Hyacinthe. They are the Grey Nuns of St. Hyacinthe. They have the same spirit, the same work and everything. But they had to be autonomous because there was no telephone at the time. There was no car. There was no railway. So whenever they left, they had to become autonomous. In 1844, 4 sisters left by canoe for St. Boniface. We were the first one to arrive there, and it took them 59 days by canoe. So they started the same works over there. In 1845, another group left for Ottawa. It was at the time Bytown. In 1849, another group left for Quebec, the city of Quebec. And in 1921, the English-speaking Sisters of the States became the Sisters of Philadelphia, and the English-speaking Sisters of Canada are the Sisters of Pembroke now. And they do a great deal of good. Some have founded convents in Japan, in Africa, in the West Indies, and in South America. I was in Bogota last January to visit 2 of our works there, and we're spread all over Canada.
Wonderful.
And we need nice, beautiful girls like you to help us now. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
This videotape will be seen by students across Canada, and I'm wondering if you have any words of wisdom or advice you'd like to offer them.
Not exactly advice, because I have faith in the youth of today. I think they can manage very well, but I would try to incite them to think about their future before they are in their future. It's something that can be prepared, and they should contemplate their goals. What do they want to do with their life? You have but one life. It can be very short. Would you like to spend it on yourself, on pleasures that don't bring happiness? Would you like to be an instrument in the hands of God to do some good? You can do that in married life. If you're a good spouse, if you're a good father, a good mother, you are an instrument in the hands of providence in order to love your children, bring them according to the law of God, make real people out of them. So I would invite and also incite them to think it over before they decide everything, because life is so short. I just received a letter yesterday. A good friend of mine, a Grey Nun of Quebec, who had been the one chosen to found the first college in Japan, died all of a sudden. I really was very pained, but I'm sure she was well received by God, because she spent her whole life doing good, you see. It's worthy. It's worthy to give one's life and one's time in order to do good. Life is what is life about? It's the time you spend on earth. So if you give 5 minutes of your time, you give 5 minutes of your life. So if you devote your life to a good cause, it pays in the long run.
I know how it feels to be good and feel
yes.
satisfied once you've done something for somebody.
It's always rewarding.
One more question, just curiosity about your organization here. Can you tell me, has it changed since you started with it?
Oh yes, we have to, if we want to survive, we have to adjust it to the social conditions, since we are meant to help the people, you see. And of course our role in the hospitals is diminished now that we were the first ones to form the nurses. We had school of nurses all over Canada and even the United States. Now we let them go, but we have the credit of having formed them, you see. We pay much attention to the social work. Like if you ever go to Old Montreal, you'll see that institution by the name of Bonneau, which is after the name of one of our sisters. We serve about 2,000 meals every day to needy people. And you should see how the sisters who are appointed there love it. Oh, they do love it. And there's so much good to do. If we had more time, I'd tell you a few stories that are quite moving.
Yes, I'm sure. I'd love to hear them.
We also take care of the orphans. And when we had La Crèche Duville, we had 730 destitute children that were left there, like packages and everything. And Mother Duville, who had been a mother 6 times, you know, when she saw that little baby stabbed and half frozen in Rivière Saint-Pierre, which passed across the hospital, she said, I can't let that go. I have to undertake that work. And ever since, we've paid attention to such cases. Even in Bogota, we pay attention to those children, anonymous children, I would say. And when we can find a good home for them, it's a joy for us, because they will have a normal life. Whereas in a convent, you can't have a normal life. You can be well taken care of, but it's not like family atmosphere and playing. Here we have, if you turn around there, we have a refuge for molested mother and children, and they play in that yard. I can't take you there because you have to respect their anonymity. We also have on the same floor a place for destitute itinerant ladies who have nowhere to go. And we also have a day center here. And all the rest of the building is for the 350 sisters that live here, that started their religious life here, and they come here and end it in the infirmaries, like the hospital, like in the hospital.
Do you have volunteers here?
Yes, oh yes. we call them associates.
And one more question. It must be difficult to get funding and to provide all these wonderful resources for people.
Yes, it is. That's why we believe so much in providence. Mother Juville's main devotion was providence. At times she lacked totally of any resource, and yet someone would come along and say, well, I feel like giving this for the poor. And that's why she will write in her letter, isn't that marvelous? We're always on the edge of lacking everything, and yet we never lack of what's necessary. See, we have many sisters who work outside, receive a salary, and that helps a great deal.
Est-ce que vous pouvez parler-moi des Sœurs Grises?
Oui, je peux vous dire que les Sœurs Grises ont été fondées en 1737 par une veuve. Marguerite Diouville était veuve de François Diouville. Son nom à elle, c'était Marguerite Dufrot de la Jemmeraie. Elle était de noblesse française parce que son père était un officier noble. Et puis elle s'est mariée avec François Diouville en 1722. Elle a eu 6 enfants, dont 4 sont morts. Lui-même décédait en 1730. Elle est restée avec 2 de ses fils qui deviendront prêtres. Elle a travaillé pour payer leurs études et c'est en travaillant elle-même et en visitant les gens de Montréal aux alentours qu'elle a dit « Je ne peux pas laisser souffrir les gens sans leur aider ». Elle n'avait pas d'argent à leur donner, mais elle avait ses mains, le service de ses mains, son sourire, son travail. Et la première qu'elle a protégée, c'était une aveugle du nom de Françoise Ozon. Et les gens qui la voyaient faire se sont intéressés. Il y a 3 demoiselles qui se sont jointes à elle. Et elle a loué une maison sur la rue Notre-Dame, mais là, comme elle portait le nom Diouville, elle n'était pas bien vue parce que lui avait triché les marchands de Montréal. Alors, on croyait qu'elle poursuivait les mêmes activités que son mari. Elle a été 12 ans persécutée, cette femme-là, mais elle n'a jamais lâché. Et il y avait une communauté de frères à Montréal, sur les rives du Saint-Laurent, qui avait fondé l'hôpital général. On l'appelait des frères Charon. Le fondateur est mort, ils ont eu des malchances. Et il n'en restait plus que 4, dont 2 étaient malades, puis 1 voulait retourner en France. Alors, les autorités gouvernementales de Québec n'avaient pas d'autres ressources que de trouver quelqu'un. Et ils disent, on nomme Madame Diouville parce qu'il n'y en a pas d'autres qui veulent. C'était pas très flatteur. Alors, elle a remonté l'édifice et elle a rendu, il s'appelait l'hôpital général, mais il ne l'était pas. Il n'était que pour les vétérans et les petits garçons orphelins. Elle, en entrant là avec ses protégés, elle a rendu l'hôpital général réellement. Elle avait des femmes, elle avait des maladies. Les gens qu'on disait dans ce temps-là tombaient du haut mal. C'était de l'épilepsie. Elle avait les aveugles, elle avait les muets, elle avait les infirmes, tous ceux qui avaient besoin. Alors de là, nous sommes venus ici en 1871 parce que nous étions inondés parfois 2 fois par année dans le vieux Montréal. Alors, j'étais mal commode. Vous savez, un certain temps, on était 800 là-dedans. Alors, quand c'était inondé, il fallait tout transporter en haut. Alors, nous sommes arrivés ici le 6 octobre 1871, 100 ans après la mort de Mère Diouville. Mais il n'y avait que cette partie-là qui était bâtie. La rue Guy et cette partie-là jusqu'à l'église. L'église a été bâtie de 1874 à 78. Et l'autre aile, qui la prolonge, de 1879 à 89, et l'aile de la rue Saint-Mathieu, où vous étiez tantôt, a été bâtie de 1898 à 1903. Nous avons hospitalisé ici des vieillards des 2 sexes. Nous avons eu 4 ou 5 écoles qui ont fonctionné, même l'école supérieure pour infirmières, qui est devenue l'Institut Marguerite Diouville, a été fondée ici. Et nous avons eu l'Institut familial pour former les jeunes filles aussi. Nous avons eu des foyers. Mais comme la maison, même si on est bien protégé, n'est pas garantie tout à fait contre le feu, on n'a pas pu garder nos vieillards. Il a fallu les transporter ailleurs. Nous autres, nous restons ici, là, je dirais, à nos risques et périls, mais nous sommes très, très bien organisés. Il y a les tableaux d'alarme, etc. Et nous avons ici 3 œuvres et je suis très heureuse de voir jouer les enfants en plein air dans ces jardins parce qu'il s'agit d'enfants qui sont peut-être molestés par les parents. Nous avons aussi une place pour les femmes itinérantes et un centre de jour qui est très populaire, je puis vous le dire. Actuellement, ils sont en congé, par exemple. Alors, nous avons différentes œuvres. Nous avons des cofondations en 1840 à Saint-Hyacinthe, 1844 à Saint-Boniface dans l'Ouest, et c'est là que ça a pris 59 jours en canot pour s'y rendre en 1844. Nous sommes aussi à Ottawa depuis 1845 et à Québec depuis 1849. Les Sœurs Grises de Philadelphie existent depuis 1921 et les Sœurs Grises de Pembroke depuis 1926. Et nous sommes répandus au Japon, en Afrique, aux West Indies, en Amérique du Sud, puis évidemment au Canada et aux États-Unis.